Welcome to the Crazy Drake Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is time to do the ALDS series against Detroit Tigers and Seattle Mariners. But first, we have to step back a little bit to the Cleveland wild card game against the Guardians. Detroit just beat the Guardians in 3-game series. They won the first game with Tarek Scuba on the mound. Uh, a lot of no runs left batters on base for Detroit. They had the same problem in game 2 with Casey Mize on the mound. Uh, and little things like that is going to add up for Detroit. Detroit in the last month seemed to be struggling a little bit more than they should have. A lot of their main hitters, Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, Torgerson, those are the guys that you want to keep the bats hot and heavy. Let's not forget about Patrick Meadows, Dylan Dillinger helped Detroit out in game 3 to break the tie against Cleveland. It was 1-1, and he hit a home run, and that's something that it started the wave for Detroit. Detroit needed someone else to do something big besides Torgerson, Green, or Carpenter. I think that Detroit should look at it this way: they were 2-25 with the first 2 games of the series, left a lot of guys on base. However, they made up the difference. A lot of errors were made between the Cleveland Guardians on the field. Kind of saved Detroit a couple times. Left players on base. A couple runs came in here and there. But the bullpen, I think that Detroit, a lot of fans are kind of bickering about the bullpen not being used correctly, or they think that the bullpen is weak. Now, I've said this in the past, and I say this again, folks. If you have only 3 starters because Reese Olson and Jackson Job out, what do? You go to the bullpen, and you go in your 4th and 5th game to the bullpen. And unfortunately, with Charlie Morton didn't work out on that trade with Baltimore, and Chris Paddock didn't work out so well on that trade from Minnesota. So those are the guys that were supposed to do something for the team, help keep a boat afloat, but it didn't work out. Obviously, everyone knows Charlie Morton is not with Detroit. He's with the Braves, I think. And as of right now, Charlie Paddock is in the bullpen. However, the question that you might have to ask yourself is about Troy Melton. Now, Troy Melton was a prospect coming up this year, struggled a bit much more than we wanted to see out of a really hard pitcher. Throws about 100 miles an hour, getting all choked up a little bit, playing in the majors a little bit, huh, folks? However, I don't agree with the fact that 2 things I don't agree with. The fact that, one, we threw him in there in game 2 after Casey Mize went out. I know he was not the pitcher that came out right after Casey Mize, but we put him in there in the 8th inning, I think, and things went out of hand. It just didn't look good for him. I just don't really understand why AJ Hinch would have done that to Troy Melton. But it is what it is. It happened, and now he's going to have him start for game 1 in the ALDS series. Castellino and Tarek Scuba would take on game 2. In some ways, I think that you got to start somebody besides the bullpen guys. You just can't keep wearing those guys out. You're not going to make it through a long 5-game series, or when it gets to 7-game series. I just don't see that happening. I think that Troy Melton, if he can get at least 4 innings out of this, maybe 4.5, 5 1/3. I think going into the 5th inning, this might be a better choice. Go to the bullpen, go to Holton, go to Herter, go to Finnegan, and obviously Casey Mize and Tommy Kane. Kaylee, you're just going to have to get you guys out there. It's a little concerning with Julio Rodriguez and Cal Riley. Those guys are hot. Obviously, we got to give props to Cal Riley for an MVP season, a switch hitter with 60 home runs. One of the only few guys who ever done that. But keep it close. Don't leave guys on base. Uh, Everyone's got to participate. I did like the Detroit Tigers small ball that they did against Cleveland, couple bunts along the way. Uh, George Kirby, what do we say? George Kirby is starting. He's 10-8, 4.21 ERA, 137 strikeouts. He's got a 5.4 record at home, 3.38 ERA, 73. He's given up 73 home runs, but looking at what he does at home, I would tell you that he has. Uh, let's see here. He does have. Uh, he has got 73 Ks. So he doesn't give up 73 home runs. He gives up 73. He strikes out 73 guys at home out of the 136. So that's over half. Mariners can't get them get going. Can't get Kale Raleigh moving. Uh, Anytime Detroit can get him off the field, it'd be great. Detroit, I really don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. I think this could be a very uplifting game for Detroit, or this could be a very long game for Detroit with Troy Melton. Can't really say. I hope this is happening. I hope that Detroit wins. Um, the only thing that Detroit has that Mariners don't have is probably playoff experience, along with not sitting out for the first round. Probably help Detroit more than it hurt at the Mariners, so that we could actually uh, get a momentum, get a hot streak going, win games, and start in a good way. Obviously, we won 2 out of 3 against Cleveland. If you are interested, follow me, Spotify. I'm going to put this on YouTube and pin in the Patreon. Peace, love, and let's go Detroit. Game starts at 8:38 p.m. on Saturday.